You ever have one of those days where your whole world flips, but everyone else keeps sipping champagne like nothing happened? Yeah, that was the day my mom convinced my boyfriend, no, my everything, to marry my sister. I'm Julia, 26 now, living in Los Angeles, but back then I was just a girl trying to make everyone proud. Spoiler alert, I made them regret every damn thing instead. Let me start from the top. I grew up in Pasadena, in one of those rich neighborhoods where appearances were everything. Designer handbags, gated drives, champagne brunches at the country club, the whole we're better than everyone act. My mom, Veronica, was the queen of that scene. You'd never catch her without her pearls, perfect hair, and that frozen smile that could slice glass. My dad? Always away on business, which was code for he can't stand her for more than a week. My sister, Leela, was the golden one. Blonde, stunning, always the center of every conversation. People used to joke she could make a priest sin. Me? I was the smart one, the one with ambition, with dreams of starting my own PR firm. Cute, right? But in that family, brains didn't matter. Image did. Then there was Adam. God, Adam. My first real love. The kind of guy who walked into a room and the air shifted. He had that effortless confidence, like he knew the world would always bend for him. We met at a UCLA fundraiser. He was in a Navy suit that probably cost more than my semester's rent. I spilled wine on his sleeve, classic rom-com move, and he just laughed, helped me clean it up, and said, "Guess I'll have to keep you around to make it worth the dry cleaning bill." I swear, that line lived rent-free in my head for weeks. He was ambitious, charming, funny in a way that felt real. Not the fake rich boy humor everyone else used. We fell hard and fast. Dinners downtown, Malibu weekends, his hand always finding mine like it belonged there. For the first time, I thought maybe, just maybe, love wasn't a trap. My mom didn't like him at first. "He's from money, yes," she said, sipping her Pinot, "but he's new money, flashy, the kind that burns out fast." She smiled like she was being motherly, but really she was judging every move I made. I ignored her. I was in love. Then Leela got involved. She'd just come back from some influencer wellness retreat in Arizona. She walked in like she owned the damn sun. "Oh, this is Adam," she said that night, eyes scanning him like a purchase she might make later. Adam laughed politely, but I saw it. The spark of ego, the way men's eyes always flickered when she walked in. It made me uncomfortable, but I brushed it off. She was my sister. For months, things were perfect. Adam and I were planning our future. We talked about buying a place in Venice, adopting a dog, maybe even getting engaged soon. Then one night, everything changed. It was my mom's birthday dinner, the kind of event that made headlines in the social pages. White roses, string quartet, everyone dressed to impress. Adam came late, said he was caught up with work, but I noticed Leela's lipstick was the same shade as the one smudged on his champagne glass later. My gut twisted. I told myself I was imagining it. I wanted to believe that. I needed to. The next day, Adam was distant. Calls got shorter. Plans kept popping up. You know that gut feeling when someone's slipping away, and no matter how much you try to hold on, it's like clutching smoke? That was me. Spiraling, but pretending everything was fine. Then, one afternoon, my mom called me to chat. Her tone was too sweet, the kind she used when she was about to stab you with a smile. "Julia," she said, "I only want what's best for you, but Adam, he's not your forever. He needs someone stronger, someone who can elevate him." I froze. "What are you saying?" She took a sip of her latte, not even blinking. "Leela's been seeing him. He came to me, Julia. He told me he's confused. And honestly, I think she's better for him. She's got the charisma, the social polish, the kind of wife he needs. For a second, I couldn't breathe. The room tilted. You encourage this? I managed to whisper. She looked at me like a child. Don't be dramatic, darling. You'll find someone else. Someone more suitable for you. That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just smiles. I ran out of that house so fast I left my bag behind. I called Adam, straight to voicemail. I texted him, begged him to meet me, to explain. Hours passed. Then finally, a message. It's true. I'm sorry. Please don't make this harder. That was it. The man I loved, gone. My mother and sister, the ones who were supposed to protect me, ripped everything apart and called it for my own good. I didn't eat for days. My phone blew up with whispers, DMs, gossip blogs, hinting about a love triangle in Pasadena's elite circles. I wanted to disappear. So I did. I packed my car, drove down the Pacific Coast Highway with nothing but a duffel bag and shattered pride. I moved to LA proper, rented a tiny apartment above a coffee shop, and started over. I built myself from scratch, hustled my way through PR gigs, networked at events where no one knew my last name. I rebranded myself. New hair, new wardrobe, new version of Julia. Not the forgotten sister, not the ex, just me. And damn, I thrived. My PR firm took off, managing high-profile clients from fashion houses to real estate moguls. People started recognizing me for my work, not my family name. I learned to smile again, though it was a different kind of smile. Colder, sharper, the kind that hides the fire behind it. But here's the thing about LA. The higher you climb, the more ghosts you see at the top. And one day, one of those ghosts wore my sister's perfume. I was at a private gala at the Beverly Hills Hotel talking to a potential investor when I heard that laugh. That laugh, the one that used to echo in our house when she'd get away with something. I turned, and there she was. Lila, standing in a red gown like sin personified, her hand on Adam's arm. He looked older, colder, but still too damn handsome for his own good. My heart didn't ache this time. It hardened. They hadn't seen me yet, and in that moment, I made a choice. I wasn't going to run again. I was going to take back everything. You ever look at someone who destroyed you and think, damn, you have no idea what's coming for you? That was me that night. I smiled, fixed my hair, and walked straight toward them. Lila, I said, voice sweet as champagne. Adam. They turned. I swear for a second the color drained from their faces. Adam fumbled his words. Julia, I didn't know you'd be here. Oh, don't worry. I didn't know you'd still be relevant. Lila laughed awkwardly. Always dramatic. How's life? Perfect, I said. Actually, Mikkel and I just got back from Paris. Her smile froze. Mikkel? Oh, I said casually, my husband. You'll meet him soon. Their expressions twisted. Confusion, jealousy, something darker. And I realized this was only the beginning. The game had just flipped. Because what they didn't know yet was that Mikkel wasn't just my husband. He was the one person they should have never crossed. And trust me, karma's wearing heels this time. You'll see what happens when the woman they broke learns how to break back. Because when they meet Mikkel, let's just say their little empire starts to crumble. You know what's funny? People think revenge starts with anger. Nah, it starts with silence. That kind of calm, icy quiet that hits after your whole world explodes. I remember standing there at that Beverly Hills gala, champagne in hand, staring at the two people who'd burned me alive once, and thinking, this time, I'm not the one walking away in ashes. I walked off that night like a movie character, heels clicking, chin up, smile sharp enough to cut. Everyone thought I was unbothered. Truth? My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. But fear doesn't mean weakness. It means you still care. And I cared about one thing only now: winning. Mikkel was waiting in the car outside. I'll never forget how his eyes lit up when he saw me step out of that ballroom all glitter and fury. "You good, baby?" he asked, rolling down the tinted window of our black Range Rover. His voice had that low, dangerous calm. "Saw your mom's little clones inside? You handle it?" I smirked. "Oh, trust me, they saw me." He laughed, that deep, rough laugh that made people turn their heads. "Then we're just getting started." See, Mikkel wasn't like Adam, not even close. Where Adam was polished, Mikkel was power. Old money looks with self-made energy. He ran one of the biggest private equity firms in LA, the kind that quietly owns half the city's luxury real estate. Everyone in that world wanted his approval, and somehow he'd fallen in love with me. We met 2 years after I left Pasadena at a charity auction for wildfire victims. He outbid some Hollywood director on a piece of art I was representing. I joked that he only wanted to win because I was the one presenting it. He said, "Maybe, but you look like someone who doesn't lose often." That was it. Game over. The connection was instant, electric, and dangerous. The kind that makes you feel seen and a little scared. After the gala, we drove through the glowing LA streets, past palm trees that looked painted against the night sky. I told him everything, every lie, every betrayal. He didn't interrupt once, just listened. When I finished, he said, "Then let's make sure they never forget your name." And he meant it. Mikkel didn't play small. Within a month, he'd sponsored a massive charity gala under my firm's name, Julia Vance PR. Yeah, I dropped my last name for a reason. Vance was my middle name. The new me didn't need the old family baggage. Invitations went out to every major name in the city: editors, designers, CEOs, including, of course, my sister and her husband. I made sure of it. They couldn't resist. Leela's ego wouldn't let her miss something that could make headlines. Adam's greed wouldn't let him stay away from potential investors. It was perfect. But revenge wasn't just about one big night. Nah, it was about the buildup. I started planting seeds, subtle ones. I reached out to mutual contacts, dropped Leela's name in conversations that mattered, always with a polite smile and a loaded pause. "Oh, Leela? I'm sure she's fine. I just hope she's keeping her brand afloat." I knew how fast gossip traveled in that city, and trust me, nothing burns faster than a rumor in Beverly Hills. Meanwhile, Mikhail played his part. Smooth, calculating, always 10 steps ahead. He invited Adam to an investment brunch at our favorite rooftop spot downtown. Didn't mention me, of course. When Adam showed up and saw Mikhail across the table, he looked like he'd stepped into the wrong movie. Mikhail shook his hand like they were old friends. "Heard a lot about you," he said, smiling that CEO smile. "Julia always speaks highly of people who've shaped her." Adam froze. "Oh, she mentioned me?" Mikhail leaned back, cool as hell. "Only that she taught her how to spot snakes early." I swear, when he told me later, I almost choked on my coffee laughing. That's my man. Weeks passed. I kept my cool, focused on work, but inside I was plotting like a chess player. I knew their weak spots. Leela cared about status. Adam cared about money. My mom cared about control. All I had to do was tug one thread and watch the whole thing unravel. The day of the gala arrived. My nerves were fire under silk. My team had outdone themselves. Massive floral arches, diamond-lit centerpieces, a guest list that screamed old money meets new power. I wore a black satin gown that hugged every curve, the kind of dress that said, "I'm not the same girl you left crying in a driveway." Mikhail kissed my forehead before we walked in. "Are you ready to remind them who they messed with?" "Oh, baby, I've been ready since the day they broke me."
The flashbulbs hit us like a storm. Cameras, whispers, envy. I saw Leela across the room almost immediately. She looked flawless, of course. Gold dress, perfect hair, fake laugh. But her eyes flicked toward Mikhail, and I saw it. That tiny crack of insecurity. I could practically hear her thoughts. Why him? Why her? Adam, meanwhile, looked uncomfortable. Maybe he felt the tension. Maybe he just realized Mikhail made him look like a boy playing businessman. Either way, he avoided eye contact. Halfway through the evening, I took the mic for a speech. My voice didn't shake once. "Tonight isn't just about celebrating success," I said, scanning the crowd until my gaze landed on my family. "It's about celebrating strength, about rebuilding when people try to tear you down." People clapped, nodded, clueless to the meaning. But Leela got it. Oh, she got it. Her smile didn't reach her eyes after that. Later, as the band played soft jazz, Leela cornered me near the bar. "You really know how to make an entrance," she said. I shrugged. "Practice." Her eyes narrowed. "I didn't realize you'd married that Mikhail." "Oh, you mean the billionaire one?" "Yeah," I said, deadpan. "Crazy world, right?" She fake laughed. "Guess we both got lucky." "Guess one of us did," I shot back, sipping my drink. Her jaw clenched. And then, out of nowhere, Adam walked up. "Julia," he said quietly, "can we talk?" Leela shot him a look sharp enough to kill. "Now's not the time," she hissed. But he didn't care. "Please," he said. Something in his tone caught me off guard. Desperation. I nodded toward the balcony. We stepped outside. The city lights spread below us like gold dust. For a moment, it was like old times. His face in the moonlight, that same soft voice. "I made a mistake," he said finally. "I shouldn't have let her or your mom get in my head." I laughed, but it came out bitter. "Oh, now you grow a conscience?" "Julia, I'm serious. I think about you all the time. She's not you. She never was." My chest tightened. For a second, I felt that old pull, that dangerous nostalgia. Then I saw the reflection of Mikhail in the glass door behind him, watching, silent, unreadable, and it grounded me. "You don't get to say that," I said. "You picked her. You both did." He stepped closer. "I was stupid. I thought you'd move on." "I did. And I leveled up, baby." He blinked, confused. "What?" I smirked. "My husband, the one who just outbid your firm for the Jefferson project?" "Yeah, that one." His face went white. "You knew?" "Of course I knew. I told him to." His mouth opened, closed, no words. "Welcome to karma, sweetheart," I whispered, walking away. Inside, Mikhail caught my hand. "Everything good?" "Better than good," I said, smiling. "Phase when? Complete." Over the next few weeks, things started unraveling for them faster than I'd even planned. Adam's company lost a major investor. Guess who that was? Mikhail's firm. He'd pulled the funding quietly, efficiently, no drama. Leela's sponsorship deals started drying up too. The luxury brands she worked with, half of them were my clients now. And in LA, when one door closes, 10 slam shut. Then, like clockwork, my mom called. "Julia," she said in that clipped tone, "we need to talk." I almost laughed. "Now you remember I exist? Don't be childish. I just think it's time we all move past the unpleasantness." "You mean the part where you sold me out like a business deal?" "Julia!" "Save it, Mom. You made your choice." "And you made yours," she snapped. "But don't think this display of wealth erases the past." I smiled to myself. "It doesn't erase it. It rewrites it." Then I hung up.
What I didn't know was that behind all their glossy smiles, things at their house were falling apart. A mutual friend spilled that Leela and Adam were fighting nonstop. Money troubles, trust issues, the usual cocktail of karma. Apparently, she'd caught him messaging some model, and he accused her of leaking stories to tabloids. The irony. I didn't have to lift a finger. They were destroying themselves. Still, something in me wasn't satisfied. Revenge felt good, don't get me wrong, but it didn't heal. Late at night, lying next to Mikhail in our penthouse overlooking downtown, I'd stare at the ceiling thinking, why do I still feel that ache? One night he noticed. You good? He murmured. Yeah, I lied. Just thinking. About them? Maybe. He kissed my shoulder. Then make it count. Don't just hurt them, teach them. That stuck with me. Teach them. Show them what strength really looks like. So I did. I decided to throw a charity event, bigger than before, one that would draw media, celebrities, and my family. But this time, it wasn't just a flex. It was a setup for truth. Because I'd found something my mom and sister didn't know I had. Old family business records proving my mom had used my trust fund to cover Leela's wedding and Adam's business launch. My money! The betrayal went even deeper than I'd realized. And at that next event, I was going to expose it. But here's the thing about revenge. When you play with fire, sometimes the blaze burns brighter than you expected. Because the next time I stood face to face with my mother and sister, I didn't just uncover their lies, I uncovered something about Adam that changed everything. And trust me, after that night, no one in that family ever slept easy. You ever plan something so perfect it scares you? Like you're holding dynamite with a diamond ring on. That was me the night of my second gala. The one that was supposed to look like a charity fundraiser, but was really a stage for karma. I remember looking at myself in the mirror that evening. Tight white gown, slick bun, eyes lined like I was going into battle. I didn't just look rich. I looked untouchable. But underneath all that glam, my chest was a war zone. My heart was beating so loud I swear I could hear it over the music playing downstairs. Mikhail came up behind me, his reflection sliding into mine. You ready, baby? He asked, straightening his cufflinks. I met his eyes in the mirror. I've been ready since the day they told me I wasn't enough. He smirked. Then let's make them choke on it. The event was held at the Sterling, a glass and gold rooftop venue overlooking downtown LA. Every inch screamed money. Chandeliers, champagne walls, a string quartet floating between tables. Influencers, editors, billionaires, everybody who mattered was there. Cameras flashed like lightning. But me? I was laser focused. My mom, Leela, and Adam walked in halfway through. The moment I saw them, I swear time slowed down. My mom in her designer suit, looking like she owned the air. Leela in red, dripping in diamonds that probably weren't even paid off. Adam, God, he looked tired, like the past few months had aged him 10 years. Karma does that. When they spotted me, they froze for half a second before pasting on fake smiles. Julia, sweetheart, my mom said, air kissing the space near my cheek. This is spectacular. Thanks, I said coolly. Funded entirely by the girl you said wasn't strong enough. She blinked but kept that tight smile. Always dramatic. Always right, I muttered. Leela stepped forward. Nice turnout. I guess your little PR gig's paying off? I laughed softly. Little? That's cute. We're running national campaigns now. Forbes just called last week. She tilted her head. You always did love attention. Nah, I said. I love proof. As the evening went on, the energy shifted. People whispered, glanced at our table. I could feel the tension crackling in the air. Mikhail gave me a small nod from across the room. It was time. The stage lights dimmed. I stepped up to the mic, my heels clicking on marble. Tonight's about more than charity. It's about integrity, about the people who build others up and the ones who tear them down for their own gain. The room went quiet. Cameras turned. My mom's posture stiffened. For years, I continued, I thought I lost everything. But it turns out I was just being redirected. I looked straight at her. Sometimes blood isn't thicker than betrayal. Gasps, whispers. Someone at the front actually said, "Damn." I turned toward the big screen behind me. I want to share something personal tonight, something I recently discovered. I hit the remote. The lights dimmed more. On screen, projected larger than life, appeared scanned documents, bank transfers, ledgers, contracts. These, I said, are financial records showing that a certain trust fund meant for my college and my future was used to finance a wedding and a business startup. The crowd murmured, "My money, my future, gone." I turned, met my mom's eyes. She was pale. Care to comment, Mom? Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. The mask cracked. "Julia, this is not the place." "Oh, it's exactly the place," I said sharply. "Because for years, you made sure I had no voice. Tonight, the city gets to hear mine." Lila stood up, her voice shaking. "You're exaggerating. Mom just helped." I stepped closer. "You mean she stole from her own daughter to fund your dream wedding, your honeymoon, Adam's fake little business that crashed in 6 months?" The crowd was silent now, all eyes on us. Lila's face turned red. "You're insane. You're just jealous." I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. Jealous? Of what? Being your mom's puppet? Please. My mom finally snapped, "Julia, that's enough." "No," I said, my voice low but shaking with power. "That's finally enough." The press caught every word. Phones were out, live streams rolling. My sister looked around, desperate for support, but the guests were already whispering, "Is that true? Her mom did what?" It was over. But then something unexpected happened. Adam stood up slowly, his eyes on me. Not angry, not defensive, just broken. "She's right," he said quietly. Lila froze. "Adam, what are you doing?" "Telling the truth," he said, voice rough. "Her mother did use her trust fund, Julia. I knew about it. I didn't stop it." My mom gasped, "Adam!" But he kept going. "And that's not even the worst part." My heart dropped. "What do you mean?" He looked at me, pain in his eyes. "Julia, I didn't just let them convince me to leave you for Lila. I agreed to it. They said they'd help me financially if I did, and I took it." The air got heavy, like everyone was holding their breath. I thought I could grow to love her, but I never did. I still loved you, always did. He swallowed. But I was a coward. My throat burned. "So you sold me out for money?" I said. He nodded once, ashamed. "Yeah, I did." My mom whispered something under her breath, horrified. The crowd erupted. Gasps, mutters, someone whispering, "This is insane." I stood there, numb. The girl who once begged for love from these people was gone. All I felt was this cold, clean freedom. "Thank you for finally saying it," I said softly. "But it's too late for sorry." He stepped closer. "Julia, I never stopped." "Don't!" I cut in. "You had your chance. Now I have mine." I turned back to the mic. "So if anyone here ever wonders how I became the woman I am, it's because they tried to bury me, and I learned how to bloom underground." Applause erupting. Real, loud, unstoppable applause. Cameras flashed like fireworks. My mom sat frozen. Lila was crying, real tears now, not for guilt, but humiliation. And Adam? He just looked hollow. After the event, reporters swarmed me. I smiled. answered nothing, and slipped into the elevator with Mikhail. As the doors closed, I let out the breath I'd been holding for years. Mikhail took my hand. "You okay?" "I don't even know," I said, my voice trembling. That felt good, but heavy. "That's what truth feels like," he said quietly. "It cuts deep before it heals." I leaned against his chest, finally letting the tears come. "They really took everything from me." "No," he said. "They gave you your power." For days after, the story blew up. Headlines, gossip blogs, interviews. Pasadena Harris exposes family betrayal live at charity gala. My mom's social circle imploded. Leela lost brand deals overnight. Adam disappeared from his company. Every news outlet wanted a quote from me, but I stayed silent. Sometimes silence screams louder than words. Still, at night, when I'd scroll through the comments, people cheering for me, calling me a legend, I felt that ache again. Because no matter how hard you hit back, revenge doesn't always erase the scar. A week later, I got an anonymous envelope, no return address, just one photograph inside. It was Adam, at some dive bar, talking to a man I didn't recognize. The note scribbled on the back said, "You don't know everything." My heart dropped. Mikhail saw it, his jaw tightening. "You think he's plotting something?" he asked. "I think he's in trouble," I said. "Or maybe he's part of something worse." Mikhail frowned. "You sure you want to open that door again?" I looked at the photo one last time. I already did. The night I exposed them. Because what I didn't realize was that this wasn't just family drama anymore. Adam's secret wasn't about love or betrayal. It was about something far darker. And the moment I found out, everything I thought I knew about my past would blow up all over again. When the picture showed up, I thought it was just another dig. You know, some desperate move from my mom's PR team trying to rattle me after their social downfall. But that note, "You don't know everything," hit different. It wasn't the tone of someone bitter. It felt like a warning. That night, I sat on the balcony of our penthouse with a glass of rosé, city lights below like a galaxy. Mikhail was inside, on a call, pacing in his crisp black shirt, his voice low and sharp, the boss version of him that made CEOs sweat. When he came out, I handed him the photo again. "You ever seen this guy before?" I asked. He took a long look. "No, but the place looks like the Crown Tap, downtown near 5th. I frowned. How would Adam end up there? He's the country club type, not the hole-in-the-wall type. Mikhail raised an eyebrow. Maybe that's the point. Maybe he's meeting someone he doesn't want people to see. That line stuck in my head all night. I barely slept. My brain just kept spinning. My mom, Leela, Adam, the trust fund, the betrayal, and now this. When I woke up, I made a decision that Mikhail didn't love. "I'm going down there," I said. "Julia, no," he warned. "This isn't your mess anymore." "It's my life," I shot back, "and I'm done being played like some Barbie on their shelf." He sighed. "You know I can't stop you." "Didn't ask it to," I said, grabbing my purse. He caught my wrist gently. "Just be careful, baby. Not everyone plays fair." The Crown Tap was exactly the kind of place my old self would have never stepped into. Neon beer signs, sticky floors, and a jukebox stuck on 90s rock. I ordered a club soda and watched. 15 minutes later, Adam walked in. Same gray jacket from the photo. He looked worse. Tired eyes, scruffy beard, like guilt had been eating him alive. I waited until he sat down at the bar before I slid onto the stool beside him. He froze when he saw me in the mirror. "Julia, didn't expect me," I said coolly. "Guess surprises run in the family." He sighed, eyes red. "You shouldn't be here." "And yet here I am," I said. "Who's the guy in the photo?" He looked around nervously. "You shouldn't have that." "Then maybe you shouldn't be sneaking around shady bars after ruining my life." He downed his drink and muttered, "You wouldn't understand." I leaned in. "Try me." He hesitated, then whispered, "Your mom's not who you think she is." I left bitterly. "Oh, I think I got that memo." "No," he said, "you don't get it. That trust fund thing wasn't her first time. She's been funneling money for years, from investors, partners, even charities. She hides it through fake companies, offshore accounts." My stomach twisted. "You're saying my mom's laundering money?" He nodded slowly. "She's been using her socialite connections to move millions. I found out after the wedding. She promised to make me part of it if I kept quiet." My throat went dry. "Jesus, Adam." I tried to leave, but when I did, weird stuff started happening. My car got trashed. I got calls with no one on the other end. I think she's being watched, or protected by people way above her league. I leaned back, heart racing. "Why tell me now?" "Because you're in danger too," he said. "That gala stunt? You humiliated her in front of people who owe her money. She's losing control. And when your mom loses control..." He didn't finish, but I knew what he meant. I could practically feel my pulse in my teeth. "So what? You think she'll come after me?" "Or Mikhail," he said quietly. "Especially him." "What the hell does he have to do with this?" I snapped. He hesitated again. "You really don't know?" I grabbed his arm. "No, what?" His eyes flicked toward the door. "I gotta go." "Adam!" I called after him, but he was gone before I could blink. I sat there frozen, that single sentence echoing in my head. "You really don't know." "Know what?" When I got back to the penthouse, Mikhail was waiting, leaning against the counter with that calm that always felt a little too controlled. "Where'd you go?" he asked. "You already know," I said. "You tracked me before I even left the parking lot." He gave a small smirk. "You're learning." I dropped the photo on the counter. "He said my mom's involved in money laundering." Mikhail didn't even flinch. "Wouldn't surprise me." "He also said you might be connected." That made him look up. "Me?" "Yeah," I said. "Apparently you're not as far out of her circle as you pretend to be." His jaw tightened. "Adam's desperate. He'll say anything to save his own skin." "Then why'd he look scared?" I shot back. Silence. Then Mikhail sighed and poured himself a drink. "Julia, there's something you should know, but you're not gonna like it." My chest tightened. "Try me." He downed the whiskey, then said, "Before I met you, I did business with your mom's firm. Just once. It was supposed to be a clean deal. Real estate, offshore. But the numbers didn't add up. I backed out. She lost millions. She swore she'd ruin me." I blinked. "So you married me to get back at her?" He flinched. "No, I married you because I fell for you. But yeah, at first I was curious. You were her golden girl, the one she bragged about. I wanted to see what made her tick, what made you tick. But then I saw you weren't her. You were everything she pretended to be." I wanted to believe him. I almost did, but my head was spinning too fast. "So my whole life's just one big revenge domino chain?" I said, my voice breaking. "Her using you using me using the truth. Where does it end, Mikhail?" He looked at me sadly. "Until you stop letting her write your story."
That night, I couldn't eat, couldn't think. I sat in my office staring at the city, replaying every lie, every smile, every manipulation. My mom, Lila, Adam, now Mikhail. Everyone had played a part. I realized something terrifying. Maybe my mom didn't just want to control me. Maybe she wanted to own everything connected to me. My career, my marriage, my name. And now that I'd humiliated her, she'd burn the world to get it back. The next morning, I got my proof. My assistant ran into my office, panicked. "Julia, you need to see this." She held up her tablet. Headlines everywhere. Gala Queen under investigation, fraud, family feud, and fortune lies. My accounts were frozen. My company's shares dropped overnight. What the hell? I muttered. They're saying you laundered your own trust fund, she said shakily. I froze. That's impossible. But then I saw the documents. My name, my signature, all forged, but they looked real. Too real. My mom had framed me. Mikhail called seconds later. I'm handling it, he said. No, I am, I snapped. She wants a war, she just got one. I grabbed my coat, heels clicking like gunfire. I knew exactly where she'd be, her glass mansion in Beverly Hills, pretending nothing was wrong. When she opened the door, she looked me up and down. Julia, she said calmly, sipping her espresso, you look tired. Cut the act, I said. You planted that story. She laughed softly. I don't plant, darling. I harvest. Actions have consequences. You stole my life and you're still talking about consequences? I shouted. You embarrassed me. You made a mockery of this family in front of the entire city. She snapped, voice sharp now. You think you can humiliate me and walk away clean? No one humiliates Lila Whitmore. You mean Lila Prescott, right? The one tied to offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands? Her face froze for half a second. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I do. And I've got proof this time. Real proof. I hired someone.
She set her cup down, eyes dark. You're in way over your head, Julia. Maybe, I said, stepping closer, but I'm not scared anymore. You should be, she said softly, because if you keep digging, you won't like what you find. I tilted my head. What's that supposed to mean? Ask your husband, she whispered. Ask him about London, about the night your trust fund vanished. My blood went cold. What? She smiled, a slow, poisonous smile. Didn't he tell you he was there? My throat tightened. You're lying. Am I? She said. Funny how history repeats itself. I left before I could scream. My heels echoed down the marble steps as the realization hit me like a punch. If Mikhail was in London that night, if he was part of it, then everything was a lie. Back home, I searched his office. Files, drives, accounts. And then I found it. A hidden folder labeled Crown. Inside, transactions, timestamps, photos. One showed a wire transfer. Same date my trust fund was emptied. The sender? Mikhail A. Brooks. My vision blurred. My heart cracked clean in half. When he came home, I was waiting, folder in hand. You lied, I whispered. He froze. Julia, don't, I said. Don't tell me it's not what it looks like. His jaw tightened. I did it for us. For us? I laughed bitterly. You stole my money before we even met. It wasn't supposed to go that far, he said, voice breaking. Your mom forced my hand. I owed people, bad people. She paid them off using your trust. I thought I could fix it later, but then I met you and I... Stop, I said. You're not the hero here. You're just another liar in a nicer suit. He stepped closer. Julia, please, I love you. I loved what you represented, I said. You loved revenge, control, just like her. I backed away. You two deserve each other. He looked wrecked, like I had stabbed him. What are you going to do? He asked softly. I wiped my tears, straightened my shoulders. What I always do, I said. Win. Because what none of them knew, my mom, my husband, all of them, was that I'd been recording everything. And when I went public this time, I wasn't just bringing down a family, I was about to bring down an empire. You ever hit a point where the pain turns into power? Like you've cried so hard that suddenly you're calm? That was me 3 days after I found out Mikhail stole my trust fund. No more screaming, no more shaking hands or late-night pacing. Just silence. The kind that feels like the start of a storm. I spent 72 hours putting together a plan so airtight it would make the FBI proud. Because this time, I wasn't just taking revenge, I was ending bloodlines, careers, and reputations. Mikhail thought I'd forgiven him. He was walking around our penthouse like nothing had happened, making me coffee, acting normal. I played along. You okay, baby? He'd ask, brushing a hand against my shoulder. Yeah, I'd say, with a smile that could slice glass. I wore his ring, kissed his cheek, but every night while he slept, I was building a digital warhead, one file at a time. I had enough dirt on him and my mom to nuke half of LA. By the fourth night, I had everything. Emails, wire transfers, photos, voice memos, every lie, every deal, every name. The folder on my drive read Whitmore-Fall. I encrypted it, sent backup copies to 3 separate cloud vaults, and one anonymous journalist I'd met back in my PR days, the kind who'd die for a headline. Then I booked a venue, the same rooftop where I'd hosted the gala. Poetic, right? The press thought it was another charity event. My mom and Mikhail thought it was a peace offering. It was neither. It was a trap. The night of the event, I wore black. Not just any black, a silk slip dress with a slit so sharp it could cut through the past. My hair was slicked back, my lips a deadly red. Mikhail looked at me like he'd never seen me before. "You look dangerous," he said. "Good," I replied. "I am." When we arrived, cameras flashed, champagne flowed, and the rooftop buzzed with LA's finest snakes. My mom showed up last, draped in diamonds, her confidence fake as ever. "Julia," she purred, "so generous of you to host this." "Oh, it's my pleasure," I said, handing her a glass. "It's going to be a memorable night." As the speeches started, I kept scanning the crowd. My pulse was calm, my smile steady. Mikhail gave his speech first, smooth, charming, pretending like he hadn't gutted me emotionally. Then it was my turn. I took the mic, felt the city wind brush against my skin, and smiled like I was about to burn the world. Thank you all for being here. Tonight's about gratitude, about truth, about cleaning house.
The crowd laughed politely, thinking it was a joke. "A few months ago," I continued, "I stood right here and revealed the people who stole from me. Turns out, I missed a few." The screens behind me flickered to life. I saw my mom stiffen. Mikhail froze. The first slide showed financial trails, money moving from offshore accounts under Leela Prescott Holdings to shell companies owned by Brooks Global LLC. "These are joint transactions between my mother and my husband," I said clearly. "Millions laundered under charity fronts and property investments. And before anyone asks, yes, it's all verified." Gasps erupted. My mom's face drained of color. Mikhail stepped forward. "Julia, what the hell are you doing?" I turned to him. "Finishing what you started." I clicked again. The next slide showed Mikhail's wire transfer, the one from my trust fund. "Here's the part you left out, sweetheart," I said, voice like a blade. "You didn't just steal from me. You partnered with her to do it." The room exploded in whispers. Reporters raised cameras. "Julia, stop this right now," my mom snapped. "No," I said. "You stop." I turned to the audience. "You all know my mother, philanthropist, socialite, woman of grace. What you don't know is she's been laundering money for years through charities she controls. Every gala, every donation, every cause, a cover for dirty cash." Someone shouted, "Is this real?" "Oh, it's real," I said. "And guess what? The IRS thinks so too." Right on cue, the doors opened. Federal agents walked in, badges flashing. Gasps turned into chaos. My mom's glass shattered against the floor. Mikhail's face went pale. "You called them," he whispered. I smiled. "No, they called me." One of the agents nodded at me. "Miss Whitmore, thank you for your cooperation." My mom turned on me like a wild animal. "You did this to your own family." "You stopped being my family the day you stole from me," I said coldly. The agents cuffed her first. She was screaming, mascara running, calling me ungrateful, heartless, but I just stood there, calm, steady, like the eye of the storm. Then they turned to Mikhail. "Mikhail A. Brooks, you're under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy." He looked right at me. "Julia, please, don't let them take me." "You took everything," I said. "Now it's your turn."
As they dragged him away, his eyes locked on mine, hurt, desperate, like he couldn't believe I'd outplayed him. But I had. Every step, every lie, every damn move. When the sirens faded, I stood alone, under the golden lights of the city. Reporters screamed my name, microphones in my face, but all I heard was silence, the kind that feels like freedom. My hands were shaking, not from fear, but release. Years of pain, humiliation, betrayal, all gone in one night. I looked out over the city and whispered, "You can bury a woman, but you can't kill her fire." A week later, I walked into a studio for a live interview. Clean, polished, unbothered. The host smiled. Julia Whitmore, or should I say, the woman who brought down two of LA's biggest names. How does it feel? I smiled. Liberating, messy, necessary. Do you think revenge made you stronger? She asked. I laughed softly. No, the truth did. After the show, as I left the building, I found a small envelope slipped under my car door. My stomach twisted. I opened it slowly. Inside, a flash drive and a note. You think it's over? Look deeper. The money trail doesn't end with them. My heart sank. No sender, just coordinates scrawled in red ink. I showed it to my new security chief. He frowned. You want me to trace it? No, I said quietly. I'll go myself. Because something told me this wasn't over, that the empire I burned was just one floor of a much taller building. Because when you play with fire long enough, you stop fearing the burn. And the deeper I dug into the truth, the more I realized this wasn't just my family's fall. It was the start of a war.
People think revenge ends when the enemy falls. Nah, that's just the halftime show. The real game starts when the ashes start whispering back. A week after the arrests, I couldn't sleep. Every night I replayed that gala in my head. The flashing lights, the screams, Mikhail's face when they cuffed him. I should have felt free. I didn't. The note from the car haunted me. You think it's over? Look deeper. That line sat in my chest like a loaded gun. The coordinates led to Zurich. I knew that city from whispers. Offshore accounts, private banks, quiet deals sealed with billion-dollar handshakes. I didn't tell anyone except my assistant, Cass. You're really doing this? She asked. Girl, you just brought down half of LA. Yeah, I said, zipping my bag. Now it's time to find out who was pulling their strings. She sighed. You dead-ass crazy. Probably, I smirked, but that's what makes me unstoppable. I flew out that night, private jet, no headlines, just silence and turbulence. Zurich looked like money dressed in snow. Clean, polished, fake. I checked into a glass-walled hotel overlooking the river and started digging. The coordinates pointed to a building downtown, a law firm that fronted dozens of offshore entities, the same ones tied to my mom's fake charities. When I walked in pretending to be a client, the receptionist smiled too easily. Ms. Whitmore, we've been expecting you. My stomach dropped. Excuse me? She gestured politely. Mr. Hale is waiting upstairs. I didn't know a Mr. Hale, but something told me to play along. The elevator ride up felt like climbing into a trap. The top floor was too quiet, too clean. He was waiting in a glass office. Gray suit, silver hair, sharp eyes that had seen too many secrets. Julia, he said smoothly, you look just like your father. I froze. You knew my dad? He smiled faintly. Knew him? I built half his empire. That's when my brain short-circuited. My father died when I was 8. Yes, Hale said, officially. But let's just say, not everyone who disappears is gone. My hands trembled. You're lying. He slid a folder across the desk. Inside were photos, recent ones. My father, older, alive, standing beside Leela in what looked like a private jet hangar. I almost dropped the folder. No, that's not possible. Oh, it's very possible, Hale said. Your mother's crimes weren't hers alone. They were his. She was the face. He was the architect.
My voice cracked. Why are you telling me this? Because you've kicked the hornet's nest, he said simply, and the people your parents work for, they don't forgive. You exposed a billion-dollar network that runs deeper than you can imagine. Offshore laundering, political funding, black market real estate. Leela was just the pretty cover. And Mikhail? I asked quietly. Hale's expression darkened. Collateral. He thought he was hustling your mom, but he was just a pawn. Same as Adam, same as you. I felt sick. My whole life was a rigged game. Every relationship, every betrayal, every so-called choice, all orchestrated by people smiling over cocktails. I slammed my hand on the table. Where is he, my father? Hale sighed. You don't want that answer. Try me. He hesitated, then said, Monaco, private compound. He's under another name. But Julia, if you go there, you won't come back the same. I booked the next flight. Cass begged me not to. Girl, this ain't no Hallmark reunion, she said. This is cartel-level energy. Then I'll bring the storm, I said. I'm done running. Monaco was gold dipped in sin. Yachts, champagne, the smell of power. I found the compound easily. Cliffside, guarded, the kind of place where secrets rot behind marble walls. I waited till sunset, slipped in through the service road with the stolen ID, and there he was, my father, alive, older, same eyes, same damn smile. He turned when he saw me. Julia, he said softly, like we just had lunch yesterday. You shouldn't be here. My throat tightened. You're supposed to be dead. I was, for your safety. Bullshit, I spat. You let Mom destroy me, destroy everything, and you're out here playing Bond? He sighed. You don't understand. Then make me understand, I shouted. He motioned to the window. Do you think all this happens without a price? Your mother and I built something powerful, yes, but it got out of control. We tried to pull out. They wouldn't let us. She stayed. I disappeared. I laughed bitterly. So you left me with her, to grow up under that manipulative witch while you played ghost? I had no choice. You always have a choice, I snapped. You just picked yourself. His face hardened. And now you're doing the same. You think your little exposé fixed anything? You humiliated them. You made enemies who eat people like you for breakfast. I leaned forward. Good. Let them choke. He looked almost proud and scared. You're just like her. That cut deeper than he knew. No, I said. I'm what she pretended to be. Strong. Then the windows shattered. Gunfire. Chaos. Men in black stormed the room. Hale wasn't lying. The network was watching. My father pulled me down, shouting, "Run!" But I froze. Not again. Not this time. I grabbed the pistol off a fallen guard and aimed. I didn't even think, just moved. When the noise stopped, the floor was littered with broken glass and blood. My father was bleeding too. Julia, he rasped. I knelt beside him. Why didn't you just tell me the truth? He smiled faintly. You became the truth. His eyes closed. By the time police arrived, the place looked like a war zone. I gave my statement, sanitized, strategic. They tried to question me, but I was already gone before sunrise. Back in LA, the news exploded. International scandal uncovered. Billion-dollar empire tied to Whitmore family. My mom and Mikhail faced trial. The files I'd uploaded to the press went global. London, Zurich, Monaco, every dirty deal exposed. I thought I'd feel victorious. Instead, I felt hollow. Weeks later, I visited my mother in prison. She looked smaller, older. You got what you wanted, she said bitterly. No, Mom, I said. I got what I deserved. You think you're better than me, she hissed. You're still my daughter. You have my blood. I smiled sadly. Yeah, that's what scares me. I turned to leave, but she called out,
You'll never outrun it, Julia. Power changes you. I paused at the door. Then maybe I'll change it first. Outside, the sun hit my face. I'd lost everything. Family, trust, love, but I'd found something bigger. Truth. The kind that burns but also cleanses. I walked toward my car when Cass handed me a letter. "Came in this morning," she said. It was sealed with gold wax. Inside, "You've only touched the surface. The world you burned was just one branch. The real storm's coming. You ready?" No signature. I stared at the skyline, wind in my hair, and whispered, "Always." Because maybe the storm wasn't something to fear anymore. Maybe I was the storm. And if the world wanted a fight, it had no idea what was coming. Because revenge was never the ending. It was the origin story. And this time, no one writes my story but me.
If this story touched your heart or made you feel every twist of pain and justice, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Your support means everything and keeps these emotions alive on screen. And before you go, leave your valuable thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how this